Hey everybody, and welcome to Collider's Top 5 Most Anticipated Paramount Releases. I'm Ashley Mova, and joining me again, very persistent, is Mark Ellis.
That's right, you're up, Paramount, the studio that brought us Indiana Jones, Tom Cruise doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and Bud Light swilling Transformers, has a huge year in line for 2016, and it's going to be pretty heavy in sequels. Before we get to our top 5 most anticipated Paramount movies, we're going to tell you guys the rest of the slate as well, including a movie that has already come out, and that I might be in love with. What's that one, Ashley?
Well, it happens to be 13 Hours.
Woohoo!
The Michael Bay-directed film hit theaters a few weeks ago, and the true story of the Benghazi attacks in 2012 garnered much more critical praise than his Transformers films, although nowhere near the same amount of box office. Mark, are you still gushing over this movie?
Damn right I am. I just loved everything about 13 Hours, and maybe people aren't enjoying the movie quite as much as I did, but I think when you go see the film, you realize it's Michael Bay making the movie. Oh, he's just a Transformers guy. Everything's going to be in slow motion and a bunch of useless explosions. It's not that at all. It's a really great telling of a true story, and I put it on a par with a war movie like Zero Dark 30 or Lone Survivor. I'm telling you, kids, it's just that good.
All right, next up, Zoolander 2. Old and LeMay models Derek Zoolander, Ben Stiller, and Hansel Owen Wilson must stop a conspiracy to kill the world's most beautiful people. On February 12th, the two leads are joined by Will Ferrell, Penelope Cruz, and a host of cameos.
And those cameos include Justin Bieber, which you probably saw in the trailer. And I remember when the trailer hit, everybody here at the Collider office, we got around, we watched it. We were cautiously optimistic because comedy sequels don't always work the best, but I think in this case, they got everything right, and we're going to find out in a couple weeks.
I'm so friggin' stoked for this. Are you kidding me? Give me your best Blue Steel.
Okay.
I'm prepared.
Ready?
Everyone get ready. Oh my gosh.
That's
amazing. That was pretty good.
No
That's pretty
practice.
good. This is better. Next up, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. March 4th brings us Tina Fey in the film based on the memoir The Taliban Shuffle, Strange Days in Afghanistan and Pakistan by Kim Barker. The comedy drama is also produced by Fey and SNL chief Lorne Michaels. Next up, The Little Prince. This movie is not a straight adaptation of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's beloved novel. Rather, elements from the novel are woven into an original narrative about a young girl who befriends the story's now elderly aviator narrator as she deals with her overbearing mother. American audiences will get to see the stop-motion computer animation blend for themselves on March 18th. Next up, Rings. On April Fool's Day, a whole new cast will have to deal with a truly evil force. Samara returns with a familiar videotape to strike terror again in the third film of the Rings series, Rings.
You know, you can throw evil children down a well, and they're always going to find a way back up and into your TV screen. I'm not sure. And I love the first Ring in particular. It's one of the best horror movies I've seen in the last 2 decades. With this modern technology, Ashley, are we still looking at VHS tape?
I think we're going to go with like a DVD or a stream maybe online, and then you get a virus. Are we talking about Unfriended?
Unfriended was better than I thought it could be, so maybe we
Yeah.
get the Ring version of Unfriended. Sign us up.
Next up, Same Kind of Different as Me. An art dealer, Greg Kinnear, develops an unlikely friendship with the homeless man, Jaimin Hansu. The film bows April 29th and also stars Renee Zellweger and Olivia Holt. Next up, we have Ben-Hur. The new take on the all-time classic Ben-Hur finally arrives on August 12th. A Hebrew prince, Jack Houston, survives years of slavery to take vengeance on his adopted brother, Toby Kebbell, now a Roman officer who falsely accused him of treason. Next up, Florence Foster Jenkins. The story of Florence Foster Jenkins, a New York heiress who dreamed of becoming an opera singer. The only problem, she has a terrible singing voice. The comedy drama is based on a true story and will star Meryl Streep, Hugh Grant, and Rebecca Ferguson, and it opens on August 31st. And last of the honorable mentions, the untitled Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard project. November 23rd will bring us a sweeping romantic spy thriller starring Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard. The movie's title has yet to be released, but we do know it will be directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Which is enough to get me into this movie, even though, like Ashley said, we have no idea what the title is going to be. It comes out around Thanksgiving. You have star power like Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard and Robert Zemeckis. Yes, the guy that made Back to the Future and more recently Flight and The Walk. The Walk didn't do that well in theaters, but I really enjoyed the storytelling aspect of it. Sweeping, spy, thriller, Thanksgiving, maybe we smell Oscar. Let's see what we can do.
And now, can I get a drum roll, please?
It's more like a
Colliders.
helicopter.
Top 5 most anticipated releases from Paramount. At number 5, we have Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. Jack Reacher returns to the headquarters of his old unit, only to find out he's now accused of a 16-year-old homicide. Tom Cruise returns as Reacher on October 21st, and director Edward Zwick takes the reins from Christopher McQuarrie.
And I'll be honest, some people in the Collider studio love the first Jack Reacher. I'm not one of those individuals, but I will say I'm getting a little optimistic about this because Tom Cruise has just done such a great job in action roles recently with the Mission Impossible franchise. Now, by the way, the last Mission Impossible was directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who did the first Jack Reacher. So, look, again, I didn't love that movie, but I think they're going in the right direction at least, and Edward Zwick at the helm, it gets me some confidence.
At number 4, Star Trek Beyond. Stranded on a hostile planet, Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, Spock, Zachary Quinto, and the rest of the Enterprise crew face an alien threat. The production itself has had a few threats to deal with, but after replacing director Robert Orci with Justin Lin and enlisting Simon Pegg and Doug Young to rewrite the script from scratch, the crew is on board for a July 22nd release.
And I was a huge fan of the first 2 Star Trek movies in the J.J. Abrams rebooted universe that's kind of parallel, not really, to the other Star Trek films. So here's Star Trek Beyond. This first trailer hits, and I didn't think that there was a big problem with it, but I understand why hardcore Trekkies did not love it. Let's just remember, it was a minute and a half. We all like the Beastie Boys song Sabotage. Let's at least have some sort of optimism going into this movie. It's a big summertime release. There were some production issues getting the right director and the right script on board, but Simon Pegg and Doug Young are huge Star Trek fans. I don't think that they're going to treat this material with anything less than the utmost respect. Get excited for Star Trek Beyond.
At number 3, TMNT Out of the Shadows. Once again, those Turtle Boys won't cut Shredder any slack, and they'll have the help of Casey Jones, played by Arrow Stephen Amell. Bebop and Rocksteady are also suiting up for the party, set to hit theaters on June 3rd. Mark, how much gluten-free pizza will you be eating that week?
I don't know about gluten-free, but I'm definitely going to be cranking down some Pizza Hut, some Domino's, some Papa John's. I love Ninja Turtles, and I love the animated series in the early 90s. That's what I grew up watching, and that's what these movies feel like. So the first one, it had its flaws, but I think when you add Bebop and Rocksteady, and especially Casey Jones, the human badass, to team up with the Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting crime, we don't know how the Shredder got back. It doesn't matter. Will we see Krang and that body? What do you think, Ashley?
I'm super excited for this. I really am. I really legit am. I grew up watching Ninja Turtles. Don't act like you were a 90s baby, because I was a 90s baby and this was my jam.
Then, we'll share a large pie together.
Yeah. At number 2, 10 Cloverfield Lane. The trailer for this blood relative of Cloverfield took the internet completely by surprise. A woman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, discovers the horrifying truth about the outside world while living in an underground shelter with 2 men, John Goodman and John Gallagher Jr. We won't have to wait long to see all that the fuss is about, as the movie opens on March 11th.
And this is just a testament to how great this trailer was, because nobody knew this movie was even coming out until a couple weeks ago when it hit the internet and we all went, oh yeah, Cloverfield, oh my God. Now, how much is this going to have to do with the original Cloverfield? Is it just going to be another scary story? Is it going to be the events of the first Cloverfield told from a very different perspective? All we know is that J.J. Abrams is involved, and this is basically a 3-person cast. There might be a neighbor popping in there occasionally, but it's going to be a smaller film. When I saw the trailer, I was thinking about the Dharma Initiative scenes from Lost, the TV show. If it's anything like that and can build up some suspense, some scares, we're totally locked in to another trip to the Cloverfield universe.
And at number 1, Everybody Wants Some. Speaking of blood relatives, Everybody Wants Some can be seen as a loose cousin to director Richard Linklater's classic Dazed and Confused. Linklater moves the focus from the 1970s to the 80s to tell the story of a group of freshman baseball players during their first weekend in college. It opens April 15th, and yes, the title is borrowed from a Van Halen song. Woohoo! Mark, please tell me that that's not the only reason you're looking forward to this.
Hey, I want some too, and no, it's not the only reason I'm looking forward to this, although the fact that you're probably going to have the most badass rock band of all time in the soundtrack is certainly a selling point. I am a huge fan of Dazed and Confused, and not just for that soundtrack. It was a really fun story you told about a high school football team, so moving it to college and a baseball team opening weekend, it just sounds like something that Richard Linklater has so in his wheelhouse. Coming off of the success critically and commercially of Boyhood, I think this is a no-brainer. This movie cannot get here fast enough.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Collider's most anticipated Paramount releases. But we want to know what you guys think, so hop on in the comment section of this video and let us know what was your top 5.
And make sure you guys subscribe to the Collider Video YouTube channel and follow Collider.com on the internet for all your latest movie news. That is Ashley Mova. I am Mark Ellis. And until next time, we have a June 3rd outing to plan because that's when the Turtles swing into theaters.
Pizza!
They don't really swing, they just kind of run fast.